So Fire Force definitely ended the conflict in the Nether sooner than I was expecting, but when you get a moment such as them just all together back at the 8th, you can't say you're not happy to see it come to an end, even if the peace is temporary. Maki is an essential part of the Fire Force, and her removal from Division 8 was a pretty big blow, not only just for their skill set, I mean, she can do things only she can, there's no other person like Maki, but it's also her persona and what she kind of brought to the table. Sure, she's that gorilla ape who goes haywire and will bash heads in, but she also is this almost like big sister persona who does keep a lot of this together. And it's nice to see that she did come back, even if it was because Vulcan kind of signaled her and, she came back because of that. She stayed and was willing to die for the cause because that's just who she is. She is an essential part of this company, and she will give her life gladly for it, if it means that another person could live another day. And that's why she is no princess. She is Maki, one of the most important people in Division 8. I thought this was going to last a lot longer based on the fact that we still have 2 episodes left to go with Season 2. I was expecting that there would be some sort of detonation, and the aftermath and the dramatic would be kind of what we're going to see with episodes 23 and 24 of Season 2. But they seemingly have stopped it, at least for now. And it was actually interesting how simple of an explosion they had planned, but how brilliant it was. This cone shape that would set off and pretty much destroy all of Tokyo. It was pretty basic when you look at it as a drawing when Victor is giving an explanation of what's going to happen, but when you get the visual demonstration of what probably would happen, it's quite horrifying. Everything about this show, despite it having so many supernatural, infernal-like elements, there's a lot of science behind what they do and what they say, and I really like how they're able to explain these things in very basic ways for everyone to understand what's happening without it feeling like convenience and, oh, it's magic or it's infernal bullshit. No, everything makes sense, and you believe if there really was exploding humanoid bodies in this formation, a city would definitely go up in flames and it would pretty much be game over. It's interesting seeing characters like Giovanni, who I know some people are like really hoping Giovanni would have ended up dead in this arc. I am a big fan of his character, not because I like him as a person or anything like that, but he's the type of character I want to see stick around until the show actually wraps up, until the story is officially finished. He's a deranged lunatic who already started off creepy and now is an insect. He is beyond hopeless, and he got away just with his head, but because he's an insect, that's all he needed to survive. It's really interesting having a character like that almost be like Shinra's biggest foil that he continues to have to go up against, and every time he sees him, he's more deadly and creepy than the last. There's just something about his persona that I'm glad is sticking around, even though I doubt we'll see him anymore in Season 2, as we hopefully wait for that Season 3. But I absolutely love that about his character. I mean, you start the episode off with him mocking, saying, hey, you should just be like your brother. Shinra completely losing his marbles. What did you do? And we see him basically be a doll. That's all he is. He is a lifeless husk of a being who is just waiting to patiently be sacrificed by the looks of it. And could you imagine that look if Shinra and his brother were side by side in that formation? That would be horrifying. They're doing such great work with the atmosphere, not only just with the gorgeous backdrops and the amazing mood lighting, it's the characters' lifeless or exaggerated expressions. You have Sho, a lifeless expression. You have Giovanni, the creepy expression. Then you have Shinra, the delusional maniac expression. It's just so insane to see what they're able to do with just simple static shots. And when they do get into that animation, I still don't know how David Production has managed to craft a team able to animate something like this, because from just Arthur's delusion shutting off his mind to those quick slashes to Shinra's where'd he go to immediately blasting a fire foot into his face, everything about this, from the creepy insect, like you have this like 3D insect swarm that doesn't really look 3D, it almost is like a weird 2D 3D hybrid, and it's just creepy. It's hilarious because of the characters' reactions, but it's really horrifying based on what's happening. They're just doing so much with the visual flair, and just that's why I think I always like going back into the Nether, because you know you're going to see something weird, something creepy, something ominous, and they definitely lived up to that tenfold. I really enjoyed this episode for some of the more intriguing subject matter. I mean, something about the whole burst and then the links, there's a lot we don't know about it in this episode. We're seeing that, there's someone who we probably didn't think much about based on our lack of knowledge on what Shinra is and how this whole connection works. And the fact that Giovanni was so shocked that he actually had a connection with Shinra goes to show that his research with the insect is going quite well, to which then triggers, like, why was I able to have a connection with him when this is starting to really get a conspiracy going? And I'm very curious if the last couple of episodes is going to tackle that subject matter, or if they're going to focus on a more slower paced epilogue of some sort. I would like to get some questions with Shinra, kind of asking more about that before the season wraps up, but if not, as long as we get that season 3, we know we're going to get that confirmation sooner rather than later. It's really nice though. This episode was a lot of action, but it felt like it was a very big story piece more than it was action. There was a lot of kicks, there was a lot of flaming rage, but every time you took a step back, you were seeing the story play out. It was really Arthur, Shinra versus Giovanni, and everyone else was trying to stop Doomsday from occurring. Maki coming back, I know a lot of people were like, I really hope she does come back, and I was too, but I didn't see how she would be able to, based on the situation at play. She was basically playing secretary, and I didn't really have any idea that she was going to use that little 8th badge that she had to contact Vulcan, and Vulcan would contact her, and that's how we would be able to realistically get her. Because I thought what was going to happen was someone was going to go chase after Maki, bring her in, but I was like, there's no way you're going to be able to do that in time. So the idea of seeing her at the desk a couple weeks back, playing with that 8th badge, it makes total sense, and it doesn't feel convenient like an asshole. There was foreshadowing, I just didn't see it coming at the time, but looking back, it really does bring a giant grin to my face, knowing that they had such a great setup planned, and I just didn't see it coming at all. I think there's just a ton of character development in this episode. I mean, just even the simple aftermath with Juggernaut as well as Tamaki. I mean, she feels pretty bad about herself, and it's understandable because she does feel like a damsel in distress, and she does feel like someone who's literally just there to be fondled. But to have that little pat on the head saying, you know, like, it's okay that you needed help. If it wasn't for the entire Company 8, we all would have been dead here. It's okay that you needed help, but don't give yourself no credit. If it wasn't for you sticking up for Juggernaut as long as you did, he would have ended up dead, if not yourself as well. So it's nice to have those more simple moments, those simple words of advice, because it really does go to show you how far the entire division has come and how far this whole series has come. The military and the fire divisions have to work hand in hand, and it does feel like there's this type of unity that has occurred, that going down to the Nether together, despite having so many losses and so many casualties, it feels like the groups are tighter than ever, even though they have less soldiers and less military power. The fact that they're more or less going to be working and cooperating together more, despite that never seeming like a possibility when the higher-ups were originally telling our captain to back off, it feels like despite having less forces, we're stronger than we ever were because of that will to fight together and knowing that the threat is truly down there. The only other thing I really want to touch upon from this episode is definitely Maki's brother. He's definitely overprotective, and he definitely has an outdated way of thinking that she's a girl and that she can't fight for this. It does come from a place of love similar to the father, but I'm glad that she stood up for herself, and I'm glad that she proved, like, this is where I belong. I'm not a secretary. Not only do I have an ability that no one else has, if it wasn't for me, the entire city would have been engulfed in flames, but look at yourself. I wasn't able to do this without your help of redirecting the flames and showing where they should go. Everyone has a purpose in their world, and it's not for another person to determine that for you. You have to figure that out for yourself. So they were able to take a character who, yeah, annoyed us because of his, like, oh my god, you know, this is a horrible person, you're trying to kill my sister. If it wasn't for the sister, everyone would have ended up dead. And it's kind of that, like, unfortunate realization that you were wrong, and you don't want to see your sister and the person that you really do cherish and love put in danger, but you understand that if it wasn't for her, everything would have been gone, and you gotta support her, gotta give her that hand that say, you know what, I believe in you. And it's nice, even after, like, seeing the parents and how the mother's like, you know, I did give up all this, but that's what I wanted to do. That's not what Maki should do. There's just a lot of great moments that bring a lot of things together in such a way that just feels, in a lot of ways, this could have served as a season finale, it feels like. So the fact that we still have 2 episodes left to go, I'm really excited to see what they're going to pull off. Something more lighthearted or something even more devastating than we've ever seen. Hard to tell, but I'm really excited for more, of course, as always. But let me know your feelings down below, your favorite moment, and where do you think the final couple episodes are going to go. If you enjoyed the video, of course, we'd like to show your support and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.